It's a sunny day in Saskatoon, and the temperature has gone up probably by about 20 degrees, but it's still minus 20. It is going to warm up a little bit more on the weekend. I'm Brian Chick here with Morris Wilson, and you are tuned in to the Nutana Curling Club for the Canadian Under-18 Curling Championships. We got a matchup between Ontario number 2 and PEI on the women's side. And it looks like Ontario will begin the game with the hammer. And we'll get started in just a second. All right, to start us off, we've got Ashlyn McDonald for PEI. This PEI team, one of the very late arrivals due to some travel difficulties. Tried to get here on Friday, didn't arrive until Tuesday night.
Okay, Ash.
These young guys, young girls have been in for quite an adventure over
Like I said, I think you were just in a different
the time they've spent trying to work hard to get here to the Nationals. So it's hard enough to qualify and then have to go through all the arduous journey they've had to get here.
Probably spent more time at Toronto's Pearson Airport than anybody ever would like to, but they did make it here, and they are able to play the full round-robin schedule thanks to some great work by Robin Maddie and the Curling Canada folks to try to make sure that all games would be able to be played and that nobody was penalized because of delays that they had no control over.
Yeah, they've certainly done an amazing job at putting this all together and accommodating every team.
So a little miscue on her first one. Ashlyn's going to try to improve on that. So Ontario's Sydney Anderson throw up the corner guard.
It's usually a sign they're ready to get at it right away. Interesting decision here for PEI to be going to the corner.
Doesn't quite bury. One thing that's been fairly consistent on this sheet is that side going towards the wall just doesn't curl as much. We've seen it over and over again, and I've seen a few people who've been fooled by it. Sydney Anderson looking for the hit, trying to avoid the corner guard. Just rubs it. An early opportunity for PEI to put a little pressure on.
Okay. I think same way you're throwing in for draw the button there. You got it.
PEI obviously trying to set up the force here with this call.
Little. Weight's good. Tubby. Top 12, Tubby. Gotta go. Weight's good, Tubby. Who's rock? Yours. Well. Tubby.
Bobby
Okay,
Rushton
same weight
hits
straight.
and rolls out.
It was a really good throw. I like that release.
So allow
on the last
PEI
one.
to continue with their pursuit of the force. This first stand.
Okay.
Set up, split the house.
Might be a hair slower. You're crossing center. I was noticing that on Ashes, but nothing crazy. I think you can give us the same. Weight's close.
Sophie Gallant. How about that? Somebody named Gallant who curls from PEI.
Weight's good. Got a curl.
One a mini.
3 weeks. Rear guard. Okay. All good.
I was looking through the bio here to see if there's any mention of famous relatives, but it is not mentioned, but you have to think.
So many Gallants, though, in PEI. One of the most common names. A bit like Wilson in Ontario.
Yes. Yes. Hard, yeah.
This is Casey. Oh, sorry, not Casey. This is Amelia Benning. Trying to take advantage of a miss here. Looking for a little hit and roll. Makes contact and will roll, but slip out the side door. So now PEI has that center guard to play with.
Guys, why are we so far out?
Amazing ice conditions provided here in the Natana Curling Club in Saskatoon. Lots of curl and lovely speed.
Yeah, I haven't heard a single
Always Sophie.
criticism of it. You know, even a lot of time people say it's great, except we had you know, this shot here, that shot there. I haven't heard one negative thing said about it. It's been a super quick surface with lots of curl. It makes all shots possible. You can make those soft weight come arounds. You can throw it hard; it'll stay straight. And I think all you can ask for is that it's predictable and repeatable, and it does what you expect it to do. And I think they've definitely nailed that.
And this ice is definitely that. And PEI didn't take advantage of these great conditions with the rock that went through the house. This will allow Ontario to perhaps set their deuce up. Take advantage of the hammer this first stand.
Always Abby. Line's good. Always Abby. Always Abby. Okay. Line's good. Hard curl. Hard curl. Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go. Curl. Yeah, go. Hard, hard, hard. Curl, yes. Curl. Hard. Hard. Okay.
There's an example of that late curl. It cleared the guard by probably about 2 feet and almost got buried.
Yeah.
Lovely weight. Put it right on the pin.
If you wanted to bury behind that guard, you still have to clear it by probably a good foot and then some.
Absolutely.
Casey Gauthier trying to chase that one.
Go to curl. Hard Soph. Yep. Hard Soph. All the way. Hard. All the way. Yep. Hard.
Slight roll away.
Just a little that way. Sorry, that was a little. All good. What? Oh.
It's nice steady curl even for that weight.
It was a nice control.
Probably a nice 9.5 second hit.
On the maybe on the firm side of control, but it did come up with a little help, a little carving from Sophie Gallant.
Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard. Yes. Hard. 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 Hard to stay. Hard. All the way. Hard. Hard.
This one's really finishing hard. It's got a piece though.
Will it stick around? Maybe use that other one as a catcher.
That's fine.
It's still biting, spun back.
Did the full 360 there, just big finish.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, you got it.
After a couple of days of full draws, it feels like we're in the middle of this competition finally. It was kind of stumbled out of the gate with all the late arrivals and the reschedules and the delays. And now we've had, this is the second day of the whole field being present, and now it really starts to feel like a championship. And round robin's going to wrap up tomorrow morning, and we will see which 10 teams from each gender make the playoffs.
Yeah, so been a lot of games, a lot of ends with 42 teams and 4 draws a day.
Hard! Hard! Really gotta go! Hard, Sylvie! Hard! Keep going. Every inch. Hard, hard, hard. Okay, that's fine.
That took care of the biter and rolled out.
And now you'll see Ontario try to take advantage of that center guard and
I guess I got 15.
see if they can hide one and create a little skips deuce here.
Same way as last week. Okay. You got it. Is this less? Yeah. Okay. Do you think we need less?
See how much advantage it is for Ontario having had that couple extra days over Prince Edward Island to get used to the ice.
Well, they're not taking a lot of ice here. I think that if
Line's good.
you throw the right weight, that might be a little tight.
Line's good. Straight. Line's good. Just wait. Just wait. Just
And
wait.
that line looks pretty good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just stop forward. Line's good. Just stop forward. Abby. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not back, not back.
Clearing the guard nicely and coming to stop at the tee line,
Freeze to it, eh?
biting the button.
That is
I mean,
perfectly buried.
It'll finish hard.
Maybe a millimeter open on the center line side.
Bump it. Yeah. I like that. She was here. Like that ice? Yeah, we'll take this. Okay. You got it. Yeah. Yeah. Freeze to it, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Looking for a freeze here. This is a. I guess it's almost your only option. Otherwise, Ontario will have essentially the same shot.
Ash!
Yeah,
Ash,
this
tight!
Ontario skip delivered a well placed rock. Could have really
Switch,
walked it
switch,
down much
Sylvie,
better.
Sylvie! Yep! Hard!
She's got a lot of curling to do.
And it looks like a little extra weight too. So if it does make contact, which it won't, it would have spilled open anyway. So Ontario will suddenly have a hit the paint for 2.
Share up. I think if I had known, I would have called the straight
Okay,
over.
she's managed to manufacture
If I
skips
would've called
deuce.
curl,
Still got to make it.
just communication right there.
True.
I don't
Based on the last one, though, I like her chances.
Stay away from the guard.
Charlotte Wilson, last rock of the first end, looking for any piece of the house.
Anywhere in? Yep. Yeah, hard guys. Hard guys. Hard guys, yes. Hard. Hard in. Hard in.
Sweeper's down on it all the way.
Looks looking pretty good.
Just need a little bite, and they are happy with it. That'll be 2 points on the board for Ontario with the hammer in the first. Nice skips deuce there, generated by Charlotte Wilson. We'll be back after a short break with the second end.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But a It just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
An early deuce by Ontario gives them the lead 2-0 after the first. And start off with a pretty perfect center guard, almost splitting that center line.
Pretty nice. You got it.
Interesting to note just how much extra ice PEI is taking than Ontario for most of their shots. A lot of that will have to do with the amount of rotation that the two teams utilize.
Yeah, you'll hear a lot of talk these days about what kind of release you're putting on it, not only rotation, but how pokey or poppy you are to the broom. Some teams throw it a little bit inside out, but that looked like a pretty clean throw with a little less rotation, so you will get more curl as a result.
PEI trying to get used to the speed of the ice. That was about a 14-second rock and went through.
This Ontario team currently sitting at 2 wins and 3 losses. Really need a win here to keep their hopes alive. And PEI, after that late start, started 0-3, so they'd like to get on the board with a win. Two very nice shots there from Ontario lead Sydney Anderson.
Okay. All right, take your time, big breath here, you got it.
So this is running somewhere between 14.8 and 15 seconds for draw weight to the tee.
We have seen it get up a little bit even faster than that over the course of the week, but I'd say 15 seconds has been pretty typical for the draw weight.
Line's okay.
That one's about 14.9 and came up just top button with not a lot of sweeping.
Got it, curl. Out.
Weight looks pretty good here, trying to curl it up to that rock on the button.
All the way. Really good throw, Ash.
Little bump, but it's pretty good.
Yeah. Do you hate coming this way? Yeah. All right, 5-5.
See just what impact that has. That side of the sheet was running about, that's about 15.3, a little bit better than 15.3, so that's about a half second slower than what the other, or faster than what the other side is.
This one looks like it's got a little extra weight on it.
It's okay.
Just sweep it straight by to not disturb the situation.
You nutting? Yeah. Okay. All right, Sophie, you got this. Big breath. You got it.
So PEI will have a chance to play a little tap on the
Straight.
rock that Ashlyn just
Straight.
threw.
You got it. Right up, buddy.
Throw a little weight at it.
All the way. Yep. Hard. Keep going. Okay. Hard as you can. On the guard. Yep. Okay, Soph.
A little bit tight maybe on that one. More weight than I think I would have thrown too.
Absolutely. Going to change the end around with it and move that center guard.
Yep. Yes. Hard. Hard. Away. Hard.
Abby Russian trying to remove the yellow off the top of the forefoot.
Hard for nose.
Trying to avoid the jam, but it looks like they're over curling a little bit.
Hard out. Okay, it's not bad. Okay.
Not really too bad a result, though. Kind of got away with it. Still sitting shot, close to the corner guard.
Yep. All right, you got it. Be fairly solid with your board here.
Looks like Veronica Pater is, Pater, I'm sorry, I don't know. Might be saying that wrong. Is calling for board weight here. Just trying to chip this sideways and stick around to try to sit 2.
Straight, yep. Run the guard.
Hits the guard but spills in, so nothing wrong with getting another rock in the house when you sitting with hammer.
Ontario will be addressing this rock that's sitting on the button, hoping for a nice hidden roll, or perhaps a double.
You don't have to make that double though, right? Like even just rolling over there is good, right? We want to be sitting 2. I don't think so. That angle's tough for the double, right? That's not an easy double. Okay, so just easy little hit and roll. You want to stay out of the double, or if you do have a double, they're going to roll out, right? Then we get this one. Then we hit this one. So even just roll to there is okay. Yep. Or sitting right on the button is good too, right? There's no real good double there. Yep, nose is great.
Okay, so we could hear Coach Ian Wilson's first interaction of the game, and his advice is work on making the hit and roll. The double being a little bit too steep of an angle, in his opinion.
That was the first of our coaches' interactions. The U-18 level does allow the coaches to stay on the ice and offer some advice 1 time per end. Your time clock does keep running.
Yep. Whoa. No.
And not a bad result there. Just get rid of 1 and stick around, and really no double available for PEI.
This will certainly force PEI to have to deal with this rock.
Whoa.
Casey Gauthier looking to hit and stick, but was hanging a little bit.
No roll.
Almost out, takes a spin back to bite.
I don't love that. I hate just drawing. Huh? I just don't want to leave them like. Didn't hit that one. Kind of like that. Sure.
So the debate was, do you throw a draw in to try to split the house and sit 2? And it seems that Charlotte Wilson was just a little concerned about maybe setting up a double that could have been for 3 had they left this rock sitting in the back of the 12.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with her on that.
The hit is made, but they will roll out. So maybe a little opportunity here for PEI to try to remove that red once more.
It is a difficult rock to
What do you guys like?
hit and stay on, but can be done. Perfect weight.
Okay. Control.
And we hear their weight choice.
Got to hit about half of this, and with a nice soft weight, you should be able to stick around.
Straight. Hard, Ash. Hard. Get it the other way. Right up. Yo. Whoa.
Oh, trying to go the other way now. Get across it. Miss the backing. And hang on. Not quite. But still sitting 1.
Yep. That was firm and still curled quite a lot.
Okay. Tight. Okay. Control.
So Ontario's Charlotte Wilson playing out of the Rideau Club in Ottawa. Just want to make this one go away and ideally stick around, but this is going to have to do some curling. Just got it a hair wide with a little extra weight and didn't want to come back.
I was thinking your Aslan's dove.
Just a little
That's
bit too
true.
much set
Let's
on that
go.
release.
I like there. You got it. Yeah. Like 10 feet less than your last.
This allows Prince Edward Island now to split the house and
Top 8 T-line.
get their opportunity to tie this game up or perhaps go in the lead.
Yeah, basically anywhere
Take a look.
a no double or a difficult double will be
Just
good
have
enough.
To be it. Just in. Yep. Hard. Hard. Really gotta go, girls. Hard. You gotta go. Hard. 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 All the way. Hard. All the way. Hard. 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 You gotta drag it right here. Bite it. Bite it. Bite it. Hard. Hard. Good sweep.
Big scrub there from McDonald and Gallant, and there may be a double there, but it's a cross house. Need to be big weight and precise with this one. I think they're just calling for the roll.
Certainly got a lot of verbal encouragement from the vice Casey Gauthier.
Yeah.
This
Okay. Sorry.
angle is right about at that 45 where it's
Curl here.
probably one of the more difficult shots to make if you're playing either the in-off or the slash. Neither one is particularly appealing.
Mm-hmm.
This one would probably be a little bit easier with the in-off. You see you're playing inside out with her out turn.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. 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 Yes. Yes. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Looking to hit a thin half of this, maybe even a third, but it's going to overcurl. Bonk on the nose. Yellow appears to still be shot, so they'll have a draw to the 8-foot for a second point to tie this thing up.
So if you're feeling the raw, or you're feeling the hit, what do you think? I'm feeling the raw. All right, let's do it. Here? Yeah. Okay, you got it.
Looking for full 8 or a little better. For the second point, this end.
We're sitting. Yeah, it just has to be like half 8. Yep. Okay. Okay, just have to be here. Fully. Yep, yep. Take a look. What are you thinking? Hey, whoa. Right off. Looks pretty good, girls. Whoa. I think it's there. You're good. Good throw. Yep.
And they'll watch that one come to rest right
Clearing off. Set.
on the top of the 4-foot. 2 points on the board for PEI this time. We got a tie game after 2. We're going to
Guys,
take
I
a
don't know
break
what's
and
going
be
on with my
right
watch. I
back.
did not get that one. Really good throw.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
PEI with the opportunity for the easy deuce, makes no mistake. They put 2 on the board to tie this thing up after 2. We're starting the third end here, and Ashley McDonald slips into the top 12. PEI girls playing out of the Cornwall Curling Club.
Both teams so far have been able to take advantage of the other team's mistakes in order to generate their deuce. Men's 1 and 2.
All right, you got this. Nice clean release. Speed's really
Sydney
clean.
Anderson
You
makes
got
no
it.
mistake with the nose hit, and now
Right at that broom. You got
PEI
this.
will attempt the same.
Little push out. Straight, straight, yep. All the way, yep. Yep.
Trying to hold it straight. We'll get a chunk of it. And stick around. Good sweep there.
Just 10. Yep. 10. Nine, 5. Whoa. 10. Yep. 9, 5. Yeah, 10. Yep. Good.
Slight little roll for Ontario. Biting the 12-foot.
Great communication there from the Ontario team, just constantly talking about the hit
Always
weight,
solid.
whether it's the weight they wanted, plus or minus a little bit.
Really hard.
The more you can share that information, the more likely everybody's on the same page and you get a good result from it.
Yes, makes for a great team shot. So often we think of curling just about the person doing the throwing, but there's 4 people involved in every shot.
Really gotta push it. All the way. Hard piece. All the way. All the way. Hard, Ashley. Yeah. Hard, you gotta go. Hard, you gotta go. It's fine, Soph. Up. Fine.
You definitely see it on this ice too, depending on whether you throw a normal weight closer to 9 seconds or that, hack board at 11 seconds, that it curls a totally different amount at a totally different time. So by communicating those hit weights and really trying to dial them in, it gives the skip a pretty good idea of when to expect the curl. Sophie Gallant hits and rolls out, and now we're at a reset. Ontario opting to throw the corner guard.
The other big thing we're seeing in the 4 years that I've done the mentor job with the U-18s is just how much rotation is consistently being used with each one of these young throwers. With great ice conditions like this, where we've got lots of curl and nice speed. Those stays of 2.5 to 3 rotations just doesn't work on ice like this as well. We're now looking more at 5 to 6 rotations, or even more sometimes.
Curl if you can. 2.
We were watching the Scotties the other night, and I think we counted close to 10 on one of Rachel Homan's shots. So that might be the extreme, but you do get the sense that those soft releases get punished on ice when it curls this much.
They do, and you certainly need to practice that type of release and know when and where to throw certain amounts of rotation. You know, when is the time to soften a bit, when is the time to throw a little bit extra. And work that into your training routines.
This one not shy on rotation.
It should really swing when it crosses that center line.
That was 9 rotations, so maybe she heard me talk about Rachel and wanted to put herself in that category.
Well, and it may perhaps didn't need to throw quite that much. It might have buried a little bit more if she had thrown that 6 rather than 9. So.
Yeah, there is a fine line there. There's an obviously too little bit, and once you get a little too much, the rock doesn't have that chance to grip or grind with the ice. You need that interaction. If it's spinning too fast, there's no grip. Needs a little traction.
Unless you do the Nicodine Extreme spinner.
That had 45 rotations or something.
Yeah, it's a crazy shot for sure.
Just a foot heavy there and gets the bounce off, which will give Ontario the opportunity to make a play to it.
Ontario have to be careful with this because the PEI rock is sitting slightly behind their rock, and whether you can get yourself buried or you don't want to set up an easy double for them.
Have to get by the guard first.
Not going to.
Doesn't look like they will. It was a good, probably control weight at least. It definitely wasn't short on weight.
Yeah, I think control would be about right, about a 10.5 second rock. It did seem to move off the center line early, though. It didn't really break.
Now it's Casey Gauthier's turn to try to chase. This one not doing the big dive and curl that we just saw. We'll remove the red, take a yellow with it. That's more typical of what we've seen up that line, where it just tends to track a little bit, and you don't get that finish.
Threw that one a little bit firmer than what the Ontario rock was.
Pretty good attempt there. It was hard to get the roll all the way over behind that guard. It would have required a flat 6-foot roll to make it really good.
Yeah, there was a bit of whoa yep on that throw.
I think if you hit it in the same spot with a lot more weight, you might get what you want, but it wasn't going to happen with that nice, that was probably a good, nice normal weight.
Yes, yep.
Normal being around that 9.5 seconds.
Yep. I think for U-18 girls, 9.5 probably would be typical. I've always tried to use a system with teams I've worked with where we have a quarter second one side or the other is the range, the acceptable range. That way it's so much easier for the skip and the vice to be able to call a line a shot like that. So.
Hard to stay. Really good.
Well, you heard it there. That's really, really good. The hit and the roll almost totally buried, poking out a bit. So Charlotte Wilson will have a chance to freeze to it or use it as a little backing. Line's pretty good if they can get it there, but I don't know that it has the legs.
Where should we put this?
Yeah, I got almost 17 seconds on that, so that's, we're not looking at ice quite that fast.
That might have been the shortest coach's interaction of all time. Didn't even bother getting out of his chair, did David Murphy?
Certainly a lot of history in this Natana Curling Club. You see all these dozens and dozens of banners that have earned my members in this club through the years.
Yeah, it does seem that most of the teams you see represented Saskatchewan at the Brier or the Scotties in recent years, a good portion of them represent the Nutana.
Hey,
And
got a bite!
this year's representative and Ryland Kleider, no exception. They've been here several times this week practicing after hours.
Yeah, we've had both the Kleider team and Mike McEwen's team in here practicing.
And Matt Hall, who's on that Kleider team, says this is the closest thing to Brier conditions that you could ask for in a club ice. It's like between the speed and the curl, this is pretty a pretty good comparable to what they're going to play on in
Hats off to the ice makers.
in the Brier.
Sure.
Yeah, they love it here.
Here we are, PEI sitting 2. Another interaction by Coach Ian Wilson for Ontario 2 team.
Where do you guys like it? Yeah, okay. Pardon? Not enough? It's where they just took like over there, but they have thrown no handle. Yeah. So you don't need to come to this though. You want to draw to the forefoot, right?
Couple of good points there from Coach. One, that the releases are different. The PEI team as a whole throwing a lot softer of rotation. And also that you don't need to use that backing. If you're comfortable with the draw weight, you just want to get a piece of that forefoot. The backing is kind of hidden, so you don't want to flirt with the guard in an attempt to get to that backing.
That's right, and it's just biting the tee line, so you've got lots of room to sit in there for shot in front of it.
So looking at 2, Charlotte Wilson needs a piece of the forefoot.
Just forefoot. You just need forefoot. Yep. Line's good. Just four. Line's good. Whoa, don't overdo it. Don't overdo it.
Sweepers on, off. Gonna walk it right down, get a piece of that forefoot. And will it stop? Yes, it does. Uses a tick off the backing, but might have stopped anyway. 1 point on the board for Ontario. They take a 3-2 lead into the 4th end. We'll be back right after this break.
I'm the last guy that looks at the draw. I I don't care that much, in all honesty. I would say that I think someone posted the draw in our team group chat, and I don't think I looked at it for about a week after. Now, I did finally look at it because the guy started kind of talking about the pools and whatnot, so I thought, oh, I better go and look and see what's going on here. And so, yeah, I don't pay too much attention to that stuff. I'm kind of the type of guy that's like, what time, what sheet, and definitely who are we playing? We want to talk about that pregame and whatnot, but what time, what sheet, get me there, let's go. And I don't want to get there too early either, because I don't want to be in my curling stuff any longer than I have to be. I don't like hurry up and wait. Just get me to the ice, get that practice slide in, and away we go.
And what shot do I need to make? And here we go.
You bet.
A nice draw from the skipper, Charlotte Wilson, and well swept all the way down by Rushton and Anderson. Puts a point on the board for Ontario. They open with a pretty tight center guard to start the fourth. This game's just cruising along, Mo.
Just to highlight our conversation a bit earlier about the rotation, that was 6.5 rotations to stop for skip Charlotte Wilson. And a slight undercurl on that. It didn't go right back to the rock, but good enough for a shot. So
I want to tap it in.
they pick up the point.
Hey, Ash.
Looks like we may get a couple more rocks in play based on these opening maneuvers.
Back four. Back 12.
It's a little deep.
Alright. Do you ever just draw? Because I feel like if you hit that, they're just going to freeze. Yeah. And then if you're heavy, bump it out. Yeah. Like air on the side of a hair heavy. But you know what I mean?
I like the draw here.
I do as well.
And we keep saying it, but the way this ice curls, if you throw the right weight, you can absolutely lose this one behind those guards, and all of a sudden Ontario would be chasing, and PEI has a chance for a bigger score.
This does look like it's got lots of gas to it.
Just too much.
Unfortunately, I'd say that's the wrong miss there. Being a little short's okay. You can leave rocks in the way. You can use them later, but not a lot of good can be done if you're heavy and wide.
Well, you take effectiveness of your sweepers right out of the play, don't you? You can always do something with it. It's a bit short, but it's too heavy. There's not much you can do with it. Again, just a little bit too deep, but nicely thrown
Barely.
rock.
Sounds like Ontario's using the zone system to call their weight sometimes, but not all the time. So they were calling 8 most of the way down, which would indicate back 4. And if T-line is 7 and back 4 is 8, I'd say that was a pretty good guess.
Yeah, spot on.
Let's go, Phil. You got this. Yo! Straight, yep!
They're looking to hit the red rock out of the way, but get a piece of their own yellow. Now you see Ontario really try to twist the screws a little bit, put a little more pressure on, sink another one in there to top 8 or top 4, and really make PEI nervous, make him sweat a bit.
I'm calling 8 again, so about the same weight as the previous rock.
If their bide's really good, just rubs, straightens it out a bit.
Still a useful rock.
That's still in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, you see a lot of different weight systems being called for out here from team to team, and the zone system that you were talking about is one that's quite common. You'll hear some teams saying normal, hack, bumper, different parts of the country, perhaps different terms. And then a very popular one right now is the speed hog to hog and stopwatch. So as you've been talking about, 9 seconds or 9.5 seconds, and often they'll use that rather than the normal term. Now, just because it's far more accurate.
Yeah, it's something we talk about a lot in some of the camps we work at is, you know, my normal is not the same as your normal.
That's right.
But on your particular team, you might have had a practice where you said, our normal weight is going to be that 9.5 seconds.
Yes.
So if I say normal, you already you know what it means. But if you go to a different club and start playing with different people, normal doesn't necessarily mean normal.
That's right. That's right. I also like it from the point of view of the feedback that provides. You'll see they'll call for that, and the skip will do the timing from the far end, and then providing feedback to the sweepers to take back to the throwers so that they know exactly what it is. So, you know, if you say I want normal and you don't throw normal, you may object to that from the skip. But if the skip has got the stopwatch and you were 10 seconds instead of 9.5,
nice to have
the stopwatch doesn't lie.
The evidence, or the receipts, as the kids say these days.
Yes. Yep.
I always got a kick out of it. Somebody asks for a hack weight, you say, my hack or your hack?
Yeah, that's right.
You'd think that would be the same, but even that's not consistent.
Good point.
Little over curl there. They didn't maybe quite get out to the broom they wanted.
Yeah, a little tight and light, I think. Now
PEI.
I like it. Board.
4 rocks to play.
Draw. Perf. Yep.
We frequently say spend 4 rocks setting up your end, and then 4 rocks doing something with your setup. And sometimes that's step on the gas and really try to make it happen, and sometimes that's bail out of there and try not to get too stung.
Yeah, PEI needs a big shot here. They are looking at 3 Ontario Red Rocks in the house.
Hard, girls. Hard, Zoe. Hard. Hard.
Just a hair light, so it over curls.
That looked good most of the way down, but when the weights start coming off, it certainly curled.
Yeah, we have seen that all week too. The hog line in, it goes almost as far sideways as it does forward, and that really takes some of the steam off.
This looks a little hot.
You don't
but it's picking up the curl now, and speed's coming off.
You don't want to move that yellow very much, but being somewhat in the way certainly makes it harder.
Like 3/4 of our yellow. You want to tap it? I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Just like back 8.
This is a difficult and very precise shot to hit absolutely all that you can see of that yellow and just try to punch it into the 4-foot. has to be really, really good if you're going to be shot here.
Let's see, just a little bit more than half a rock.
Straight. Slowly. Whoa. Yeah. Whoa. Curl.
Even if you hit a piece of it and split it open, you probably will expose that red in the house.
Hard.
Got a piece, gonna roll it over. Not a bad result, almost as good as you could have done. It does open up that red on the button, but more importantly, you've negated that the other 2 red counters. So red's only sitting 1 now instead of 2. Actually, it was 3 before that.
Yes.
Back into there. If we get just inside.
Ontario's still in the driver's seat, though, with
That's
a
perfect.
well-thrown
The
rock.
other shot is if you
Next
end up
one
on the
coming up.
G, like half buried, that's pretty good, right? Anything in that line
I
is,
just don't like
is
leaving
pretty
them
good.
second shot.
No, I know that. But if you're in that line, if they do try some sort of hit on this, like they may jam it there, right? But yeah, we don't want to over curl it and then be short on the eye, right? Like if you're gonna do that, you got to get into the top of the forefoot, right, for second shot.
It looks like
Coach Ian Wilson gave very clear, specific instructions there with that interaction.
a line on this one is going to be more important than the weight. There's a lot of good places you can put it along that kind of middle of the forefoot path. And ideally, you go right into the top of the forefoot. But if you're a little bit short, as long as you're in the way, it's an effective shot.
Absolutely. Yeah, top 4 would be ideal here to set 2. But I'm sure they wouldn't mind in that top 8 rock either.
Looks a little warm, I agree. But here comes the curl, and the weight tends to come off.
Looks like it may sit right on top of the shot rock.
Just a few feet more weight than she needed to throw there, but all things considered, not a bad result. It's tough to get inside that and try to count a point here.
I mean, maybe do you make that? Would we ever be able to come in? How much do you have of this? You can see my broom? I mean,
Getting some help from Sophie Gallant at the other end. Seeing exactly what the possibilities are from the thrower's perspective.
control it, Max. I think back 12. You can't make the double with back 12. No, not double. What do you like?
And here comes Coach David Murphy to
Any chance you can throw kind of down with just enough to move it. You're going to have another shot afterwards anyway. We throw big weight at this. There's still we still may not lose that one in front. So enough weight like back 8 or something just to kind of get this one out of the plane and sit on top of that.
You think?
Yeah, well, even if we can sit right on top of it.
Okay. So like back 12?
Back 12, yeah.
Okay. They just took here. Okay. Think it like here? Or where do you think for back 12? Edge? Yeah. Okay, you got it.
Well, you heard David Murphy there explain what the objective is.
For viewers at home, if you haven't watched games before where the interactions are being used, you'll notice that they don't have the entire team there. They are on the clock, and usually you see them just either speaking just with the skip or perhaps with the skip and vice on the team in order to save their time.
Yeah, like you said, the clock does keep running, so it doesn't necessarily slow down the game very much. The interactions tend to be pretty brief, and the coach will offer some insight as quickly as possible. And the game just gets right back on track pretty quickly. So we haven't had any team run out of time yet, and only one that was close that I can think of.
And you may have noticed with that one as well, too, that the Ontario coach, Ian Wilson, was out just having a quick little chat with his players as the PI had called their interaction. So they are allowed to do that, and they have one in each end throughout the course of the game. At the U20 level, it's just 2 per 5 ends per team.
So a little extra weight there from Veronica, just chips those reds and unfortunately made the situation a little harder on herself. Those reds are now even more buried than they were, and the one on the button is very difficult to get at.
And you would think after this shot it's going to be more so.
I don't think the red's going anywhere, but there might be a third one in there to contend with.
You're right. And here, the tolerance would be anywhere top 4 to right back frozen to the shot rock.
Yeah, again, line's more important on this one. Anything on that path from the button right out to the hog line even will improve their situation. But this one's looking pretty good. It's going to come right in the top 4 foot.
And it's going to be right to it.
What do you like?
Perhaps undercurled somewhat to what they wanted, but still pretty effective shot.
I think it's poking out roughly about half a rock, but it is still tough to move it enough to get shot. Not impossible, but difficult.
See anything of this? I mean, it is thin, but I mean,
What do you think, Brian? How much you can see that yellow rock? Perhaps a quarter?
Yeah, just about. And I'd say enough. If you could hit what you could see with some weight, I think that could get you a point.
A high degree of precision to it.
But you'd have to throw it very hard and very accurately.
Yeah? You think control? Yeah. If we're trying to hit here. Oh, here? Yeah. Okay.
I think control might be a little too much weight for this shot. If you hit what you can see with control, you're going to roll wide and probably still give up 2.
Yeah.
I think your best bet is almost like a back 8 kind of weight. Try to get to the nose and just move those reds maybe a foot each.
I think absolutely no more than back line to get the. We've seen it all night. I get very weight sensitive, and the more weight you throw, the straighter that rock's going to go.
Last rock coming here in the 4th, looking to skinny the guard and make 2 reds disappear. Looks like it will be on the guard. And insult to injury, chips another red into the 4 foot. That is a steal of 4 for Ontario. They will take a 7-2 lead into the 4th end break. We'll take about 5 minutes. Everybody's going to reset, and we'll be back after the break.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
From cash spiels to grand slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
The Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
When I came onto the team, I said, good job, boys. Earning that Brier spot and earning that trial spot. I guess I got to thank Brendan Botcher for that too, a little bit, maybe a lot. But yeah, never before have I walked into a team that was automatically in the Brier and in the trials. So it's a different feeling for sure. I think that for me, it definitely made me want to work even harder though. And I think it just takes a little bit of that pressure off, knowing that those spots are already there. You're walking into a veteran team with a lot of great systems in place. You know, the guys they've been nothing but welcoming for me, and I've been curious. I've been asking a lot of questions on how they do things and trying to, you know, apply my own little flavor to things. And I think we've just really worked well and collaborated well together.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
A big end on the board for Ontario. Steal of 4. Sitting 3 before that last rock was thrown, and unfortunately for PEI, they just missed the wrong way and added one more to the pile. So 4 points on the board, 7-2 for Ontario, leading PEI. here at the Under-18 National Curling Championships. I'm Brian Chick here with Morris Wilson. Mo, what were your impressions of that first half?
Yeah, again, I think the whole story of the game is just the team that is making mistakes, the other team's taking advantage of it. And just so far in this game, PEI's made just a few more than what Ontario has.
So Ontario looking to switch into a more defensive style of play by going into the house, trying to draw PEI into the ring so they can throw some hits.
Yeah, they would have liked to had that rock stop top four. It has slipped a little bit deep. However, the golden rule of thumb is when you've taken a big end like that and you get a sizable lead, you don't want anything out front, no guards. So better to be a little bit deep than light. Even if throw through would be preferable to having a guard up there.
Yeah, PEI being not falling for the trap, ignoring that piece of cheese in the forefoot and throwing a corner guard instead. PEI needs to generate some big ends here, so they need all the rocks in play they can get, basically, at this point.
Yeah, Sydney Anderson made a nice adjustment with that, and it does have a nice rock biting top four with their second one.
These games are only scheduled for 8 ends, so they do tend to move a little bit quicker than some of the ones you might have been watching lately in the Scotties or the Brier. Those 10-end games allow for a little more time to come back when you, if you do get behind, you can fight back over the next 5 or 6 ends, but in these short 8-end games, you don't have that much time if you get down early. We've seen a lot of big comebacks at the Scotties this year.
We certainly have. Some exciting contests out there. Looks like the game's won, and next thing you know, it's slipping away, especially in extra ends.
PEI was looking for a roll on that hit, but managed to stick top 8, and now Ontario will go hitting. Or at least they'll try to get a piece of it here.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple game now for Ontario. Just make some noise and make those rocks go away.
He's pretty good, eh?
So just looking at the standings, the top 10 records overall across the 3 pools will advance to the playoffs. Right now, the top of each pool would be Nova Scotia 1. It's 5-0. Alberta 1 and Quebec 2 are both 4-1. And Alberta 2, skipped by Abby Desormeaux, is 5-0. So if you're at 0 losses or 1 loss now, you can almost guarantee yourself a spot in those playoffs. Some of those 2-loss teams will make it through and others won't. And tiebreakers will be based on head-to-head records if possible, but then those shootout scores, the last shot draws prior to the game, will start impacting whether people advance to playoffs or not. The top 6 seeds will advance right to the quarterfinals. And the last 4, seeds 7 through 10, will have to do a play-in game to reach a quarter. But it does give a good chunk of this field an opportunity to stay alive and actually put their name on the trophy if they can win a few games come tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, with the hard work that these teams have put in and the difficult times that some of them have gone through, it's important to give them every opportunity possible to advance and go as far as they possibly can.
So.
It is a long week, no matter how you slice it, even though they are 8-end games, and that these guys are still young and full of energy. But I don't care. Once you play enough games and you try to be, in that performance state for several hours a day, and staying in hotels where you're maybe not be as comfortable, it really starts to grind on you after a little while. So I think that's something that those high-level elite players do so well, that they figure out how to make those situations work for them as best as possible.
Yeah, I've always marveled at, like, it's one thing to have the physical ability to be able to do these things, but how can you stay mentally sharp through such a long season and so many high-level competitions? It takes a special type of person to be able to do that.
I think rest and recovery is thoroughly underrated in a season plan, where I think people try to throw so many rocks and play so many competitions that they don't give them time, their body or their mind, enough time to relax and refresh and regenerate. And taking a week off every now and then from a competition could probably be a good thing.
I couldn't agree with you more. I know I've talked to several of the young coaches that are here this week, and some of those people are going to be appearing at the Briar in just a short period of time, and they are using this week. They're busy with the coaching duties. Some of them are throwing a few rocks, but some of them are also using for a rest recovery period as well. And justifiably so. Been a long season.
All right, there's an unforced error from Ontario, missing the hit. Now PEI looking to split the house, use that corner guard, and maybe generate a crooked number.
I thought that corner guard was going to go underutilized, but it's come back into play.
Casey Gauthier trying to wrap one around there.
This is really running the center line.
Starting to work a little bit, but
it's a little on the heavy side.
Yeah, not buried either.
Sorry about that one. Control? Yeah. I don't know. Might not.
Yeah, 6 feet later, that would be completely buried.
Yeah, I think so. My broadcast partner yesterday, Eugene Hertzek, was talking about how sometimes there's a lot more movement outside in than there is inside out on these sheets. He's a member here. I think he says he has been for 40-plus years. So he would be familiar with the surface, but if anything, it might be a little bit dished from the outside in. And that's what most players would prefer. You do get that big curl to the button, but it does make those inside-out shots a little more challenging. Charlotte Wilson just looking for a nose hit or a little inside roll on this yellow.
It's coming up nicely.
Got the nose, but rolls out, so not sitting second shot at the moment.
Do you want to draw another one in and leave the hit for after? Yeah. I mean, that's second, right? Yeah. And I think if you put one like
See with
here, you're taking that away, hit, right?
yeah. See if they can make the adjustment here. And throw that 6 feet less.
But the only risk is if she puts one like bigger, right? Do you want to just check David really quick? Yeah. Do we draw or do we want to hit?
We'll have a quick talk with Coach David Murphy.
I think if we draw, we're drawing for a freeze, right? Because drawing over there, they're just going to hit. So you can either freeze to it or hit it. Freezing would be nice. If you tap it a little inch is probably really good. Force them to hit. But if we can hit and roll this way, we should be able to score two.
I like the hit and roll, I think.
Yeah, as long as it's just off.
Just off, like from there,
yeah,
right?
catch 7/8 of the rock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Control? Yeah.
Sounds like they settled on the hit and roll away from the other yellow. Try to split the house at the back there. I didn't mind the draw kind of half tucked behind the corner, but that's how you would potentially generate 3 points.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well, too. They are down 7-2, and they're running out of time. Scoreboard time.
Yeah. At some point, when you look at the scoreboard and it's not looking good, you start taking a little more aggressive risks, knowing that it's going to go big or go home. That one ran a little straight on them, didn't quite get the curl they were looking for. Hits and rolls out, and now Ontario has a opportunity to make the yellow PEI stone disappear and potentially sit 3.
Charlotte, if you peel this out, it's better because then they don't have anything to draw to.
Yeah, it'll curl over here at the end.
Just make sure you hit it.
Yeah.
2 good points there. Number 1, make sure you hit it. You know, that's
probably the most important point of all.
Yeah, that's the big one. If you happen to roll out, it's not the end of the world. Like you said, you eliminate the possibility of that PEI using that as backing. But if you happen to nose it and stick around, they're still shooting against 3. You've got your force in the bag, and mission accomplished. So, yeah, rule number 1, make sure you hit it.
I think he did leave with a positive comment. That is, make sure you hit it. She's throwing a good stone.
Yeah. Well, she hit it.
Right on the beak.
So PEI looking at 3.
Control.
Veronica Pater is going to have to, opting to play the hit. This is always a little dangerous. You've got to be precise with this and hit it on the nose. Any roll here would probably end up in another steal.
It's interesting because earlier in the game, you know, she opted for the draw instead of the hit. And she was coming back the other way and faced with 2 rocks in the house.
Last rock of 5 coming up.
Really
Sophie Gallant trying to make a curl. Makes contact, but will spill too far, and it'll be a steal of 2 more. Ontario will lead 9-2. We'll be back with the 6th end after this break.
Canadian curling trials. The thing we cried for, fought for, thrown 1,000 rocks for. The podium, just out of reach. But we can almost taste the gold medals in our teeth. Defiant, we take down giants with nothing but the stones in our hands. And in the stands, they wait and see who among us will earn the right to wear the maple leaf.
From cash spiels to Grand Slams, club competitions to world championships, there's a lot to keep up with on the pebbled ice. Stay up to date with the Hardline Curling Show, your weekly source for everything curling, with the latest event results, breaking news, interviews with players, executives, and insiders, plus behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you don't miss a thing.
Well, in the words of Ron Burgundy, that escalated quickly. We were having a pretty good battle back and forth for the first few ends, but a steal of 4 and another steal of 2 has really kind of put this thing a bit lopsided.
All there. Good. Tight. Tight.
Ontario 2 leads 9-2. Throwing the first one top 4.
Yeah, pretty well perfectly placed. Split in the center line. Full top 4.
Again, PEI choosing to ignore it. Throwing up that corner guard.
Ontario will be when you set another one on top here.
Mine's good. Pretty similar. Mine's good. Mine's good.
They're quite happy just controlling the center of the ice.
Do it. Curl if you can. Mine's good. Mine's good. Weight's good. Just do it.
Another one sliding right to the top of the house. And that is essentially 2 perfect shots.
Job well done by lead Sydney Anderson.
All right, you got this, Ash. You got it. Straight. Straight, yep. All the way. All the way. Yep. Okay, whoa.
Ashley McDonald trying to rattle those Reds around, but it over curls and will pass right by. Charlotte Wilson wastes no time up to peel the corner, which you're not allowed to do yet. Timeout.
Coach Ian Wilson for interaction.
Just guard. No, yeah, but then they come and hit it and nose and freeze, like freeze on ours. I just a tight guard. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the call here. And the peel would be the right call if you were allowed to, but the 5-rock free guard zone is still in effect. This is only the 5th rock at the end, so that yellow cannot be removed yet.
Coach showed he was just a little bit better at math than his daughter.
Yeah, counting to 5 is hard when you got mittens on. A few years ago, that would have been the right call.
Yeah.
That's
Skip Charlotte Wilson maybe wasn't old enough to remember those days.
Yeah, so now 5-rock free guard zone no longer in effect. Everything is fair game. Hit whatever you like.
All right, you got it, Soph. Straight, yep. All the way. Yep. Okay, whoa.
This one will make some contact. Billy's Reds around a little bit. That one slides out the back, but hangs on. It is in the ring still. Shooter, however, rolls wide and does not appear to be in. And now Charlotte Wilson is allowed to call for that peel. Abby Rushton. Curls just enough to chisel it sideways.
And they're happy with the shooter rolling away and the play. No any more rocks in play.
There is a little pocket there between these two Reds. looks like PEI gonna try to make the double, where I think I might be throwing a freeze into that little nest.
Yeah, when you're down those opposing rocks can be your friends if you tap the back in the right spot.
Straight, yep. All right, gotta go. All the way. Really gotta go, Ash. All the way. Yep. Hard, Ashy. Hard, Ash. Hard.
Looked like Sophie Gallant just started that one a little bit. Maybe didn't quite get out to the broom, but definitely poked it in on the release.
Kind of overswept her first, eh? Yeah. I probably should. I think. Actually, let's go this way. I like just hitting it hard. I like normal.
Yeah, no need to get cute here. Another just make contact, and it'd be nice to stick around, but not entirely necessary.
So Ontario, two teams seem to be very good at communicating. There's a lot of chatter out there in each and every shot. And
no, I totally agree, and you definitely notice that some of the teams are very good at that sort of thing, and some maybe just haven't quite mastered the art of that dialogue yet. It's such an important factor in managing a shot to place it in the right position and to manage it correctly and sweep it right. But that is something that you need to learn and something you need to practice, is about how to talk about the rocks.
Yeah, agreed. Little wheel wobble.
So you gotta go. Line's good. Gotta curl. Gotta curl. Let's. Hard, girls. Gotta curl. Hard. Hard, Sylvie.
Great weight, just didn't quite get it finished the way they would have liked. Is sitting shot, but it's wide open. Amelia Benning's gonna have a crack at it. Needs to curl a little bit. Just gets enough.
Yep. Line's good. Gotta curl.
Another attempt here for Casey Gauthier, trying to sink one behind that top 8 rock. And
but laid a broom to it.
again, the weight wasn't bad, but they're just not getting the curl going towards the wall there.
It's pretty straight here. Yep. A little more.
As well, we have a second. I have to give absolute huge props and congratulations to the Nutana Club for putting on a great event. Loads of volunteers, well attended by fans and members, and they put on a pretty good show here. Not the most orthodox week we've ever had, but with all of the changes and with all of the excitement, it has been a great event nonetheless. So good job to the Nutana Club.
Yep, we've made the best of it, and they've been wonderful hosts. And lots of enthusiasm amongst the fans out there, as you can hear.
That cheer was on behalf of the Nunavut boys, who have had a pretty rough go of it. They've been on the wrong side of some lopsided scoreboards, but they just scored on a measure there, so the fans wanted to let them know that they have a lot of support nonetheless.
Yes, I think this is the first year that Nunavut's attended the U-18. perhaps one other year since it started back in 2017 or 18.
Yeah.
I know in the 4 years I've been doing it, this is the first year they've been here. So if they have been here before, it was pre-COVID. So nice to see them back and taking part on the national stage.
Nunavut girls also represented. Every province and territory has at least one team, including Northern Ontario, which is like its own province. Says the guy who lives in Toronto, I know.
Well, from the curling perspective, they do think of themselves as their own province. I've got to say, I live in Southern Ontario, Brian. I've spent lots of time working with Northern Ontario teams, and it's wonderful going up there, and they've produced some outstanding curlers, as we well know. So
yeah, and I mean, if you look at the numbers, the region itself has, more curling clubs in Northern Ontario than a lot of other provinces combined. So
yes.
it's not that they're unfairly represented.
Yeah, a lot of it is just because of the size of the province. It's so difficult to, the distance from Southern Ontario up to someplace like Thunder Bay or Kenora or Red Lake. It's quite a journey.
Another nice throw from Charlotte Wilson. No mistake. Make the yellow go away.
Whatever you like. What do you like? I think same thing. Okay, you got it. Yeah, you got it.
This time Veronica opting for the draw.
Against 3.
Needs to hit roughly full 8 foot for a point. Last shot of the 6th end coming right up. PEI looking for full 8 foot. Indicating that it's a little bit heavy.
Where? Whoa, never.
Let's hit the brake now. We'll see what effect that has on it.
14-3. Should be fine. You're good.
And who needs sweepers, right?
Back 4 without a broom.
Point on the board for PEI. That'll make it 9-3 with 2 to go. We'll be back after the break.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You can throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
1 point on the board for Prince Edward Island, but they still have some major work to do. Trailing by 6 with 2 ends to play. They have to go all out offense here starting with a pretty good center guard, touching that line.
Yep, about halfway, zone 2 center guard.
Touching the line these days so important with those center guards, because that means your opponent cannot play the tick shot to remove it from the center line.
Back 4. Back 4. Back 4. Back E.
Ontario playing the come around. It looks like it could be just a little on the heavy side.
That's fine.
Swept it right out,
Does slide through, and
or maybe not.
well, we'll have another look at it.
It's like so close.
It's definitely not on the rings.
That's,
Yeah.
all right, they agree that it has gone through, and if I'm Ontario, I prefer that than leaving one hanging around back there.
Absolutely.
Got it.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. Through's better than short in that situation when you've got a big lead.
Line's a little wide. Yeah, I don't really wanna. Okay. It's gonna stay. I just don't know where.
This one looks a little toasty as well.
That really finished. Yeah. Okay, Ash. I didn't
It
expect it to go
will hang on to the back 12.
A little deep, but it's a sitting shot.
Let's make a good one here. You got it.
I expect that after this one, we will see
You're drawing for
that
sure.
center guard get peeled, and Ontario probably going to take it. Not a lot of time to call a bunch of takeouts, because they just want to make sure they have a easy shot to score a single, and that will probably put the nail in the coffin. The only way that PEI scores a few is if Ontario leaves all these rocks lying around. And
Got it, curl.
Yeah, they want to simplify this end as much as possible. This one's well out here too. Again, late hitting the break, and that's usually is a sign that the rock's a little heavy.
it's trying to walk over here.
Starting to make the break now.
And the difference of where it is to where they want to be, just a couple of feet heavy, and a little less weight would have curled to a few inches more.
Yes. You read this one, right? Peeling the guard.
Yeah. Great logic there from Charlotte. The guard's the one that's going to hurt you, not those rocks behind the tee line. You can deal with them later.
Looks like a nicely thrown peel.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a bullet to be effective. Nice normal weight, or maybe a bit firm, but nice pure throw right at the broom.
Like a foot less. Foot less is good. You got it. Little. Weight's close. Line's good. Weight only.
You surprised at this call?
2, 1. Yep. The guard.
I think the guard is probably what I would have called anyway, so if
Looks like that's what we're going to get. But
Okay,
I think the call was for top button, wasn't it?
I think so, but that's a good miss then.
Yep.
You're hoping for either a miss on one of these peels or just a nose hit, and then you can really take advantage of those rocks in the back of the forefoot.
This one's curling up, but rolled not completely away, but off the center line.
That one, very similar throw, but that one curled quite a bit more, so it leads you to believe that the release might have been just a little bit different. First one might have been a little more straight through towards the broom, and that second one may have been just a tick past that 12 o'clock release that we're frequently talking about.
Oh, I think that's exactly right.
Just to it. Sorry. Line's good. Weight only. Curl if you can. Ash, go. Curl. Yep. Curl. Curl to get the red. Curl and bump red. Curl. Curl. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, sitting two, although that is a very makeable double sitting there.
Hit something hard. Yep.
And that red jam on your back yellow makes it unlikely that the one on the back line will ever become a counter.
This is Vice Amelia Benning's first throw.
Has to curl a little bit, but gets
Got it.
one out the side door.
But none of it love is so real.
The None of It love is real. These fans going crazy every time the Nunavut boys make a shot.
So like 5 feet less? Just like
They're a pretty young team, so you expect that hopefully they enjoy the experience enough to come back for a couple more years.
Very young. The young man holding the broom for PEI doesn't look very old as well.
Yeah, part of the goal of this level is to make sure the athletes like competing and that they enjoy competing and that they see something maybe in the competition beyond the sport. So
Yes.
hopefully that they get the right feedback from this event and it makes them want to continue in the game.
Yes.
really tight.
I said that yesterday in
That's tight,
one
eh?
of my professional development sessions that we had back at the hotel that one of the slides, the thing after coaching curling for 35 years that I'm most proud of are the curlers that are in their early 40s now that are still competing and still playing. That's gives me more pride as a coach than national championships and international championships. So.
Playing inside out at this double. Well, hits it on the nose, so not all bad. Got that yellow surrounded.
Like there? Could be out
Again, once that is that straight spot that it just doesn't come up
Is that where it's at
like
right now? Is it? You're
have
drunk.
you if you had thrown the other
Very,
turn.
very weight sensitive.
We know it. We've thrown just like 5 the same path. Yeah. Do you think a tiny bit? No. I like it. I was nowhere near the broom.
So Veronica Pater looking to lob another one right under the button and hopefully make a difficult double attempt for Charlotte Wilson.
Yep. Okay. Okay.
The speed stayed up, Brian. That was a 15:04.
That's
Top four without much of a brush.
Oh, pretty good spot, though. Makes the double virtually impossible, and picking it out is not the easiest shot in the world, considering that's the straight spot.
I feel like this is easy. I feel like this is okay. Normal? Yeah.
Opting for the smart play, in my opinion, to play the short run on the red-yellow.
Get rid of the rock that's in front of the tee line.
Yeah, I think this is easier than the just hitting the
You will not likely make contact with the one in the back four, so this is just trying to get rid of one.
Your shooter will roll out, but you may be able to keep that red rock that they're about to hit in play.
Looking for a short run back. Anywhere on the high side here will do it. Looks like she's pretty close.
She's got a good shot.
Just like she drew it up, and we'll probably see another draw. And Charlotte Wilson will probably have a crack at the double. The downside for PEI, they played a pretty good end, but even if they manage to pull off a steal here, they're still quite a bit in the hole. And
yeah, this has been one of the better ends
of
the game.
Same weight?
Which that's encouraging going forward.
Just here. Line's good. Where? Where? Gotta be full floor. Gotta be full floor, girls. Yep, yep, Sophie. Hard, Soph. Just Sophie, just Sophie. 14-9. Should be here. It's gonna be a little deep.
pretty good, but you don't want to weld them staggered. That is...
Like that, you mean?
Just like that. That makes it for a very simple double. Anywhere near the nose or even outside the nose means they both go. And Charlotte Wilson's got to be licking her lips at this one because it's pretty juicy.
Nose hit for three.
Looks like it. Last rock in 7. Looking for a nose double.
Looks like she's got it.
Looks pretty good. Bang, bang. Yellows go. Reds stay. 1, 2, 3 on the board. And that will do it. Handshakes for Ontario 2 and PEI. I think that makes it a 12-3 final. And that'll do it for us right now. We've got another game coming up for you at 8:30 p.m. tonight. That'll be the last draw of the day. So thank you, IKS, for a great production. And thank you all for tuning in on Curling Canada's YouTube channel.
Thank you, Brian. Nice working with you again.
Always a pleasure, Mo. So we'll see you guys later tonight. Thanks a lot.